AgWeek Weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
As harvest season begins rolling in the region, how will the weather fare? Here's John with our AgriWeather outlook.
The weather pattern across most of the United States, and in particular the Northern Plains, Midwest section, for the first couple of weeks of October, it's still looking, generally speaking, warmer than average and a little bit wetter than it's been. You know, a lot of this region was a bit drier than average over the summer. Some places quite a bit drier than average. Other areas just slightly drier than average. But in general, it was not a rainy summer. But it's beginning to look like a bit of a rainy fall, perhaps a little untimely in terms of a fall harvest. For Corn Belt areas right now, I don't see it as being a major issue yet. Some parts of the Northern Plains may start getting a little bit too wet. And I don't really anticipate any really cold air dropping down. There will be some waves of cooler weather as we get into October, but I'm not seeing a lot of freezing weather dropping down. Certainly not as we start out the pattern. This would be right on October 1st. It's temperatures well into the 80s as far north as North Dakota and northern Minnesota. Now that's not going to last, but the jet stream pattern with this ridging over the eastern part of the United States definitely favors this warm weather. That I think will be relatively fleeting. Trough of low pressure digging into the middle of the country, coming out of the Pacific Ocean. With split flow, won't really tap into the cold air, but it will push the hottest temperatures, I think, a little bit further south. But all in all, the eastern part of the United States, the northern plains, still a bit of a warmer than average weather pattern, kind of focused on this area, with some cooler weather coming in to the northwest and some areas into the mountainous areas and adjacent high plains of western Montana may even have some freezing weather briefly by the end of the week. But I don't anticipate that'll last very long. The trough by the weekend will be setting up in the eastern U.S., ridging beginning to build in the west. So what was looking like an intrusion of cold air out west will end up being mostly just a mountain scene, and we'll watch those pretty warm temperatures build up into the west. And this will be a warm part of the country. The east will cool down, but we'll keep the really cold weather up north. Now, this may bring a stray frost around mid-October to some areas of the eastern central Corn Belt, but we'll keep the northern plains, I think, mostly frost-free for a while. Now, as far as precipitation goes, eastern seaboard looking fairly dry. Don't see tropical systems coming into the eastern U.S. here in the early part of October. The southwest, of course, will continue to be dry as it's been. Pacific Northwest, snow, rain in the mountains, rain and snow in Alaska. And there will be some areas of showers and thunder showers from the Dakotas, particularly North Dakota, back through the Great Lakes, and then down to the Mississippi River Valley. Probably not a lot of transition for that second week of October. Not really wet weather, but still wetter than average.
For home delivery of AgWeek, log on to agweek.com or call 800-811-2580.